Hey, how are you?
I am great.
Today is just one of those days that Murphy's Law is applying to me.
Oh my gosh, everything that could possibly go wrong?
Goes wrong.
Oh my gosh, that sucked.
But I'm here in studio and we are doing We the Youth. So Murphy's Law doesn't apply to that.
It
because
doesn't.
We're here and it's one of the greatest shows on radio and TV at this point in time. The freshest thing out.
Fresher, like fresher than the potato chips that we like so much? Or?
Fresher than the crispy onion ring.
Oh my gosh, that is it. That is it.
So we are here. We the Youth is a new show by Our Part, and Our Part stands for Our Portal of Accountability and Representation for Trinidad and Tobago. And this show is designed to elevate youth voices. It's a show by the youth, for the youth, and of the youth.
Correct.
And interestingly enough, we're in studio. We were listening to a little music whilst we were getting ready. And today's topic is, wanna guess?
I'm seeing in my crystal ball creative arts. Creative arts?
The
is
orange
it?
economy.
The orange economy.
And we are here. We are actually joined by Muhammed Muwakil. He is from Freetown Collective. And
Freetown Collective! Okay, sorry. That was just my groupie voice. Sorry, let's start that again.
so we are joined by Muhammed Muwakil. He's on the phone with us because he has a prior engagement. And he still agreed to be here together with us. So welcome, Muhammed.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Freedom.
So let me just correct you real quick. My name is Muwakil.
Muwakil.
Yeah,
Yes.
not Maki.
Muwakil. Well, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. How you doing?
You're welcome. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, And I hope you didn't hear me scream just now. When
You're on my speaker anytime.
oh my gosh. I'm so ashamed, but I'm not ashamed.
So, Muhammad, tell us a little bit about yourself and the Freetown Collective band. I mean, that's where I know you from. You could give us a little more detail into your insight in the creative sector.
I started. Hold on 1 second. I started off at UE.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Doing theatre arts. Well, I started off at UE doing civil engineering. Switched to theatre arts. Did international relations and literature for a while, and eventually I left UE with no degree to pursue music with Freetown.
Oh,
That was
now
an
15 years
interesting
ago.
shift.
And here we are.
nice.
Yes, and I honestly love your music.
Of course we do.
Yeah, you actually wrote the theme song for Trinbago 2023 for the Commonwealth Youth Games.
Yes.
Yes, and that song is so inspirational. Sometimes it brings tears to my eyes when I hear it.
Serious.
I'm serious.
Wow.
So, as we have you for a short time, let's dive straight into the conversation.
Yeah, let's get into it.
If you were to close your eyes, and don't because I know you're driving, and you
No,
could...
I'm not driving.
All right, thought I heard you said you were in a car.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be driving, so.
To get big, so... Tell us what you envision Trinidad and Tobago to be for that moment. That perfect Trinidad and Tobago that has the orange economy and the creative sector taking place. What do you see that being?
Just like we need to reform the school system where we understand it's a pipeline. So you decide what you want to produce at the end of that pipeline as when someone is born to the moment they become a full adult in a country, what's the mentality you're trying to produce without being, indoctrination or anything like that? Like, what are you trying to produce?
All right.
It's the same for me with the music industry. There needs to be a pipeline. We need to take away some of the guesswork. So someone who decides to be an artist, their journey can't be, well, there isn't any actual road for me to walk that's been mapped out by a government or otherwise. And so what I have to do now is go through all the open mics, go through setting up my own Instagram and trying to gain followers and, risk my whole life basically for as long as it takes to establish myself. And and then maybe it works out and maybe it don't. And maybe I figure out how to sell records, maybe I figure out how to tour, maybe I figure out how to put on concerts, maybe.
Right.
It shouldn't be a maybe. There should be a place that anyone who is aspiring to be an artist of any kind, whether
Right.
it be a designer, whether it be a visual artist, whether it be a musician, should be able to go and have some sort of a roadmap, some sort of coaching, some sort of an idea of how to get from point A to point B. But beyond that, that particular organization should also be scouring the country at all times, looking for the talents that rise above the rest and assisting those people in becoming what we need them to become. Not just so that we can call ourselves a nation and be proud of our artists, but also because those people will become a really important part of the economy. We lose so much money by having our artists just in the wilderness, you know? So the ideal is A to B. How does an artist go from, I think I want to be an artist to, I am a successful artist?
So what I'm hearing is things like mentorship and a roadmap. But do we currently have anything like that in the country and it's not being implemented, or is this just a new thought?
So we have something. We have the artist registry,
Right.
which I don't think is as functional as it used to be right now. We have, or we had, I don't know, again, a program called Mentoring with the Masters. But these things exist here and there. They're not institutionalized, and they're certainly not made known to the wider population in a way, right? It needs to become almost I don't want to say tradition, it's not the word I'm looking for,
Right.
but it needs to become that this nation
Like a
knows,
culture.
a part of the culture, that this nation knows what we do is support art and artists who are attempting to be great. We support it. We support craftspeople. Like, we support these things actively, you know? And that there are places that artists can go to be supported as long as they prove that they are serious.
Right. I hear that. I see that happening. Now, in your life story, from what you explained just now, you went from civil engineering to theater arts and around the world, and then back to doing your own thing. So what advice would you give the viewers and the listeners, especially the younger ones out there, to know that they want to do this as opposed to going to the traditional career? And I use traditional in air quotes.
Most people would choose traditional career over what they want to do in their heart because they think it's safe, right? And I would say to you that there's no such thing as safe.
Agreed.
Because you could decide that you want to do civil engineering instead of trying to be a saxophonist or a singer. And then you do civil engineering for 15 years and then you lose your job. For whatever reason. The pandemic shows that, right?
Yeah, Petrotrend Losing I'm sure does that too.
You know, but what you have to do is if you know that you are choosing a career or a life path that is a lot more difficult than another one, just understand that your level of work and your work ethic and the level of wisdom you're going to have to apply will be a lot more than if you were in another place. So be prepared to work 10 times as hard and to drive yourself. Because nobody's going to tell you to wake up at 8 o'clock or wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work for some hours